Hi guys! How's everything going? Oh my goodness, it's been so long. I'm so sorry. Life's been so crazy. But I wanted to come on here today because I was challenged by Miss Made Up Mama, Miss Patrice, to do a diary of fat girl confessions. Something like that. Anyways, my name's Cassie Leanne. If you're not familiar with my channel, I had weight loss surgery in December 29th, 2015. I'm gonna go ahead and do my stats because I haven't updated anybody yet recently. So, heaviest weight that I was recorded with the surgery center was 237 pounds. My surgery weight is 224 pounds. Last time I came to you guys, I think I was like at 155, and that was like a month ago. And so far I've been fluctuating between 151 and 153. I am currently in my 7th month, so it's definitely slowed down. I've definitely hit a stall, but that's more so because of me than my body. So anyways, so that's just a quick update of my stats. Oh yeah, I am 5'5", and I am 30 years old. So anyways, so let's get down to the confessions. So this is actually a really, I guess, cool and crazy concept for me to do this. It's kind of almost like I don't want to say like a counseling session, but it kind of feels that way. Basically, going and talking to a therapist, except I am talking to YouTube. Anyways, so let's get started. There are things that I haven't thought about in a really, really long time, things that I didn't know that I was a problem until I started really to sit down and think about, all the stuff that I did, and all the problems that I have with food and the reasons why I got to the weight that I did. So, let's talk about earliest childhood memory, about food. So I laugh at it now, like me and my family laugh at it. It's super hilarious. It's like a really big running joke with my family and I, but in a sense it's kind of sad too. So the first really earliest childhood memory I have about having like a food kind of problem was probably when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Can't really pinpoint the time. It was around that time frame though. But my parents would, it was like when it first came out, kind of, I guess, but they would sell the bags of the cubes of cheese, like the Colby Jack and the cheddar and stuff like that. I was a cheese fanatic. And I actually would eat it, like eat a lot of these cheese cubes. Well, I could sit there and probably eat the whole bag. Like I love cheese. Like I'm like a little mouse. Like that's what my family says. They tell me this all the time. I love cheese. So anyways, so I could sit there and eat the whole bag, and if my parents would let me, but because there was, me, my brother, my mom, my dad, it was one of those things where they would have to tell me to stop eating it because to save for other people, like I needed to share. Well, in the middle of the night, when everybody was asleep, like I literally would stay up and sneak into the kitchen, get a handful of these cheese cubes, go to my bed, and I wouldn't eat them all. I would save them. And so I'd stuck it underneath my pillow. Well, this went on for probably a couple times. Well, one day my dad was teaching me how to make up my bed and didn't realize that I guess I didn't eat all the cheese cubes. And so we went to go make up my bed, go to take the sheets off, and there were cheese cubes under my pillow. And it's funny, but it's sad at the same time, because it's like a funny joke that like they found cheese cubes underneath my bed, like, but at the same time, like I'm 5, 6 years old, like already starting those habits of hoarding food. Like, who does that at that age? I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I can't believe I did that. And it's just one of those things where you laugh at it now, but I felt so embarrassed and ashamed at that age. So yeah, so that, like, I honestly, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's, anyways, so yeah. So I was already hoarding food. That wasn't the first time though. Like, I did that with candy, Christmas candy. We would have Christmas candy and I would hide that under my bed. I literally, like, would stay up. I would keep myself up, made sure everybody was asleep in the house, and I would go out into the kitchen and, or the candy bar or candy jar, anything. Like, I would literally hoard food. And I don't know if it was because of the fact that, like, I was still hungry. I liked the fact that, you know, the food was there, or it was more so that it was a kind of a forbidden thing and I was just kind of testing my parents. I have no idea. Like, I was so young. I honestly, I don't know, but it's really sad. So yeah, that's like the earliest that I can remember. And the funny part is when I was really little, like, I actually was really, really petite. Like, I was a really petite child. I was petite compared to all my family members. And so when I was very little, like, I always got made fun of. They always called me olive oil or, you know, skinny bones or, you know, something crazy like that. So I don't know if it was something that it just triggered in my mind, but it was one of those things where I was very petite when I was a child. And, around this time frame, around 5-6 years old, I started to gain more weight. It could have been, it probably just was something that, you know, you're growing, people, you know, they start getting an appetite. I remember when I was little that I didn't like a lot of food. Like, I didn't want to eat meat. I really just ate, like, eggs and, you know, like the bad stuff, like candy. But, I did like vegetables though. I did eat a lot of vegetables as a child. But the meat part, I hated meat growing up. And so I literally, like, I would have to do, like, my mom would be on me to eat certain foods and stuff like that. So anyways, so yeah. So the next one, I have like a little note here that I wrote down. But another thing growing up I remember is that when I was little, we didn't have the luxury of going out to eat, like, at all. And it was something that when I got older, it was a struggle when I started making my own money and stuff like that. But growing up, like, we did not have the luxury of going out to eat, going to fast food restaurants, going to really any restaurants. Like, I remember, you know, growing up in Olive Garden being like the fancy place to go eat, like, for anniversaries or, you know, Mother's Day or Father's Day or whatever celebration we were seeing. So it was one of those things that, you know, we weren't poor by all means. Like, we were able to have clothes on our back, a roof over our head, food in our stomachs, like, but it was just one of those things that going out to eat was a luxury. So when I was little, I would stay a lot with my grandparents, and I would stay the night there. Me and my grandparents were very super close. I'm still close with my grandma, but we were very super close. And my grandma would take us to McDonald's or Jack in the Box or Taco Bell or Arby's, wherever it was. It was just kind of a treat for us. And so, but the one thing was, I remember, is going out, not going out to eat, sorry, eating first. Like, my mom cooking us dinner or making us lunch or whatever it was, and telling us, like, okay, I'm gonna cook for y'all, like, don't forget to tell, you know, grandma and grandpa that, you know, that you already ate. Well, I wouldn't do that because I knew that if I told them, we would not go out to eat. Or go, and it's not even go out to eat, it's more like go to McDonald's. So I literally would eat dinner as a child, like even up until my teenage years. I would literally eat dinner with my parents and then go to my grandparents' house and be like, no, we didn't have anything to eat. And this was more so when it was just like me by myself with my grandparents, not with my brother or my cousins. And so it was just me by myself. But I remember being like, no, I didn't eat yet. And literally me and my grandmother going to Jack in the Box and getting like, I would eat the sourdough jacks. Oh my God, I freaking love those things as a child. But I would eat the whole freaking meal. Like I would eat the sourdough jack, the soda, and the french fries, like all in one sitting. And after eating, or like I might not have ate like right then and there, maybe like an hour before I went to my grandparents' house, but I would lie to my grandparents and tell them that I wouldn't eat. Like, this is sad. Like, it's heartbreaking how much not only did I hurt myself, but I lied to my parents, my grandparents, like it legitimately an addict. Like, as I talk right now and I say these things out loud, like, I seriously, these are like addiction problems, like, and it's crazy. But I would lie, straight up lie to my parents, lie to my grandparents about my food habits. And I mean, it's just horrible. And even as a child, like starting at like 5-6 years old, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was because of the fact that like I could get away with it, or the fact that I didn't have the luxury of going out to eat, and so, you know, I felt that I needed that. I have no idea. I'm still struggling with figuring out like exactly pinpointing it. Now that I'm an adult, I know the stressors. I know what tricks, you know, what triggers me now. But as a child, like, to be that young and to be addicted to food, it's just sad. And I'm ashamed, and I'm sorry to my parents and my grandparents, but most of all, like, I'm sorry to myself. Like, I'm sorry that, you know, like, and ashamed at myself because of the fact that I did this to myself. Anyways, moving on. Oh, goodness. I remember going into my freshman year of high school, and that being the heaviest I've ever weighed at that time. Remember going, and because I was in like cheerleading, I was in like color guard, I was in like a lot of sports growing up. So it wasn't like I wasn't active. Like, I was always doing something. But I just remember going, and we had to get in physicals. We had to get physicals done for school purposes before they could sign us off on, you know, any of the sports. And I remember going in and getting a physical done before school started, and it's me and my mom. I'm going to the doctor, and I'm 14 years old, about to go into my freshman year of high school. Go to weigh in, and I weigh 180 pounds. 14 years old and 180 pounds. To some people, that's not a lot. But to me, you know, to us it was. And I remember just feeling so ashamed and crying. And my mom just being like, how did you even get to this weight? And it wasn't even so much, I just felt like I disappointed her. So a little bit of background. So my mom, when she was younger, she was heavier. She was very heavy. She got really big, and she lost a lot of weight. She's one of those people that lost a lot of weight and kept it off. And she was made fun of when she was younger, and she was tormented when she was younger for being overweight. Plus, she's a very tall woman too. She's like 5'9", 5'10", And so growing up, like, she was always on top of me and my diet, like making sure I wasn't overeating, making sure, I'm not getting second helpings. And it wasn't something that she was trying to be mean with or be strict with. She was just, it was just something that she didn't want me to go through the same things she did when she was little. She didn't want me to get made fun of. She didn't want me to feel like I was not pretty enough, or she just wanted me to make sure that I was a very confident woman and or girl growing up, and she didn't want me to have to struggle with my weight. And so I see that now as an adult, but as a child I didn't see that. So whenever I went into my freshman year of high school and going in and weighing more than my mom, and I mean, we knew that I was bigger, but I was super active. But weighing that weight, I just felt so ashamed, and I started to cry. Like, it was the first time I ever stepped on a scale and cried. And I look back at it now and it's like, I did it to myself. I ate that shitty food during the summertime. I didn't do anything during the summertime. And I just, I felt like I was embarrassed. I felt like I let my mom down. I felt like I was gonna get in trouble. I just felt all these emotions. So it's like the first time I ever remember just being super disappointed about my body weight. Before, I never really felt disappointed. I never felt like I was not good enough. I never felt unhealthy. And so that happened. Luckily, I was doing sports, so I was doing cheerleading, and I did, join color guard that year of high school, and I was outside a lot, so I dropped the weight really fast. I remember, starting the summer off, or going and starting at 180, and by the time, school came around, after all the sports and stuff like that, and I remember getting down to 160. But yeah, I mean, it was embarrassing, and I just felt super ashamed, and I can't believe that I let myself get that way, and not, but I was a kid, and I didn't think twice about it. Throughout high school was a battle. It was a battle of going up and down, in weight. I shouldn't say luckily. I was proportioned like a woman at a young age. Like, I've always been very shapely, and I've always had hips that ever since like I hit puberty, I can remember being like just shaped womanly. So even though I was overweight, I really didn't get made fun of. It wasn't one of those things growing up that I remember people being mean to me about my weight. It was never like that. Like, I always felt that I was attractive, even being at a younger age. Or maybe it was just my ego. I don't know. Like, maybe I just didn't care what people thought, that weren't my family members. The only people that I really cared about were my family members and what they thought, but other people, I didn't care. And so, I don't know. I never grew up feeling like I wasn't good enough. Now, I started to get really, really bad habits where I would eat and then not eat, and eat and then not eat. I remember in my senior year of high school, doing the Atkins diet, because I was really big back in the day, and dropping a lot of weight. And I wasn't doing it correctly. Supposedly with the Atkins diet, you're supposed to do like 20 net carbs, but I was only doing 20 carbs a day, which was not even like the safest way or the smartest way. And I lost, I think, like 30 pounds in 1 month. It was so bad that when I was in high school, people thought I was on drugs. Like, literally thought I was on drugs. There was a rumor going around that I was on freaking cocaine. And I was 17 years old. Like, seriously. And so I kind of got a little bit of discouraged to lose weight. And I look at it now and I'm like, damn, like, we were mean as children. Like, I was probably mean. I'm not gonna lie, I was probably mean. I'm sorry. I'm not happy about my actions when I was younger, and but high school was ruthless. And I felt super ashamed, like, or not ashamed, but more pissed off that I was like, I worked my ass off, because that Atkins diet was not easy. Like, I worked my ass off to lose this weight for people just to think that I was doing it with drugs. Like, seriously. I don't know, like, I think about it now and the shit we used to say when we were in high school. Like, we thought we were so cool. Oh my God. Anyways, now I'm going on a tangent. So that happened. So I didn't gain all the weight back in high school. I actually didn't start gaining a lot of weight until I was out into the workforce. I was lucky enough that, you know, I got my cosmetology license like a year after high school, and while living with my parents. And so I was a hairstylist while I was going through college, and I lived with my parents, didn't have any bills, anything like that. So I was making a lot of money. Well, my dad worked nights, and my mom wasn't really big into like cooking dinner because there was no point. So she would eat cereal. Well, me having, you know, disposable income, I would go out to eat all the freaking time. I would try to eat healthy, but at the end of the day, you know, I just didn't. I met my husband when I was 19, and I love my husband to death. He's awesome, but he's definitely a person that can eat a lot and doesn't really gain a lot of weight. And so I kind of picked up his eating habits. Like, it was something that I just easily could do. Like, I was like, yes, like, I met somebody who eats as much as I do. And yeah, and liked eating out too. And I didn't realize like how much I was eating. And I felt bad because I would eat when he ate, even though I wasn't hungry. Like, I literally could still be full, and for some reason I could still eat. Like, I remember that. And that was probably the biggest thing. He was in the military for a really long time. He was in the Army, and I was with him for 7 years out of the 15 years that he did. And out of the years that we were together, he deployed twice. So I was by myself. One deployment was for 15 months. One deployment was for 10 months. So I was by myself. So I blamed a lot of me gaining weight on him. But when he was gone, I didn't lose any weight. I probably got a lot bigger because I turned 21. I started drinking, going out, drinking beer, eating. Of course, after you drink, you eat. So, oh, sorry, there's like this. Oh, sorry. I'm in the truck, and there's his 1st Cavalry Division thing. And so now it's making... Yeah, so you can see it on my skin. Anyways, but yeah, so I put a lot of blame on a lot of other people and in fact, you know, long story short, the blame was on me. I couldn't tell you how heavy I got. Like, I probably have to say more than likely the heaviest I probably ever got was up into the 270s. But I couldn't tell you because I didn't step on a scale. I remember the largest pair of jeans that I ever bought was a size 20. And I felt so ashamed. And I had to buy those. I couldn't fit into any of my pants. I mean, I remember literally like just shoving myself into size 16 pants. And that was like the biggest I had ever been, was a size 16 pants. And I just remember that, and I couldn't fit into them. And so I had to go to the store, and I literally was shoving myself in these size 16 pants. And when I went to the store, I couldn't even fit into size 18s. Like, I had to go up to a size 20. So, yeah, I don't know, like, a lot of shit. A lot of crap, sorry. A lot of crap that I did that only hurt myself. I'm grateful that I have a supportive family that has always, you know, tried to tell me like it is. And, you know, but the one thing is I lied to them. I lied straight to their faces all the time about food. Like, if that doesn't show you guys how addicting food is, or like when people sit there and say like you can't have a food addiction, like there's no such thing as food addiction. There is. And those people, they might not understand, and they might have an addiction that, you know, might not be alcohol or, you know, or drugs or whatever. It could be a different type of addiction. But yeah, I have a food addiction. I had a food addiction. I still have a food addiction. Like, this summer, like, I have been struggling really hard, like introducing food into my diet that I shouldn't be. You know, mind you that I don't eat a lot, and I'm pretty content on the weight that I'm at now, like how much I weigh, like I'm on the scale, but I'm not satisfied with the way I look. And I'm struggling with that every day. And there are days where I just give in to eating what I want to eat, and knowing that I'm not gonna eat that much, so I give myself an excuse to be okay. It's okay. When really in all actuality it's not okay, and I'm struggling to figure out how to overcome it every day. And so yeah, so anyways, so that's me pouring my heart out to you guys, sharing my struggle with you guys. Yeah, sorry this video is long, you can cut it short, but anyways, but thank you Made Up Mama for tagging me for this challenge. You know, it definitely was a challenge, but it's something that I needed to get off my chest. It's something that I needed to own up to, and I have to own it up not only to my family and my friends. I have to own up to, you know, myself, and really dig deep down inside and figure out, you know, how I'm gonna overcome this addiction. You know, if I was an alcoholic, it would, you know, there's so many things out there to help you overcome, you know, being an alcoholic. But food, that's something you have to rely on, and it's a struggle every day. So anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off because it was longer than what I expected. Anyways, you guys, thank you for watching and letting me be honest with you. And you know, like always, be fabulous. And you know, if you ever find yourself struggling, everybody struggles. Take it one day at a time. Take it one meal at a time. Every time you eat, every time you have a meal, you can make it different and make that meal healthy. You don't have to eat an unhealthy meal. It's up to you to make that decision. It's nobody else's decision but yours. You can try to blame it on other people, but you can't. There's always healthy options out there. So yeah. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.